it is in reality, in the core of it, it's our choice to choose whether we want to stand strong and find a way to overcome it, or to sit and cry because we are victims and life is hard and everything is not happening the way that we want. So being the manager of the life, taking full responsibility of all the difficulties that happen and looking in them as a manager, as a leader, as, okay, this is what we are facing, how we can overcome it, not just surrender to it. That's the approach of self-respect. And that builds immediately inside you confidence and love and energy and positivity that, oh yes, I can do it. I am strong. I can stand and do it. And I refuse to be a victim to myself and to my life. And of course, the other point that I want to mention about self-respect is being able to draw boundaries and make them clear. And this step, I don't mean to make the boundaries necessarily clear to others, but clear to myself. Where do I stand in my self-respect? What do I accept or don't accept to happen to me as part of my self-respect, and do actions when I need to do actions by stopping others or telling them that this is my boundary, you cannot cross this boundary, or you're not interesting to me anymore. I don't want to have you in my life because you're crossing my boundaries. So boundaries start with ourselves. And I brought the other time an example of a joke that you might feel within your instinct that I can tell this joke to this person, or I cannot tell this joke to this person, or I can say this thing to this person and I cannot say this thing to that person. And the reason why in the core of it is because they have built a non-verbal boundaries to give you the vibe that you can do this with those people or you cannot do this with those people, whether it's clear to them or not. And of course, because we are talking here about awareness, it is important to build this awareness within ourselves and know that this is our boundary of respect in my relationship with myself, in my relationship with others. I allow this or I do not allow this. And also having those boundaries clear will boost this self-respect in even if you're doing something that can be very hard, but when you're doing it out of self-respect, it will feel unstoppable. It will feel very you will have a very strong belief in it because you're doing it out of self-respect. And this is a red line for you that you won't allow anything to cross it. Okay, so this is what we covered last week, and this week we will talk about the next step of the steps that I personally took to build my self-love, which is doing what is needed. And the idea of doing what is needed is also coming from a misunderstanding of self-love that I thought at some point would mean that, oh, I would treat myself with a piece of cake. I would do, for example, things that not necessarily are good for me, but this is what is my understanding of self-love, that I deserve a day in the spa or whatever, and that's it. That's for me is enough to be to show myself that I love myself. And of course, those are good things, and I'm not saying we shouldn't do them, but in reality, those are treats. Those are not the actions of self-love. So we can treat ourselves occasionally with those things, knowing that they are not the act of self-love. Those are acts of celebration that happen every now and then for whatever reason. But the act of self-love comes from doing what need to be done. So if I know that out of respect to my body, I need to exercise, then that's what need to happen. This is what I need to do. I need to do this. It's not what I want necessary, but it's coming from self-respect, because I know that my body deserve a good food, a good healthy food that I will give to my body because I respect my body. I will give my ears good music because I know that my ears, out of respect, deserve good music that I love, that I feel in harmony with. I will give myself what I feel I need, not necessarily what I want. So differentiating between what we need and what we want is a big step, because we most of the time we mix them together. I want this and I need it, but are they the same? Is it something that I need, or is it something I want? And wanting something means it's out of desire. Needing something is out of necessity. So treating ourselves with respect, whether it's our brain or our soul or our body, means that we do what is needed for those parts of us to be good, to function good, because we respect them and we give them the best. It's not always about treating them with things that we feel that it's fun and it's good and we love it. And again, I'm not saying that I'm against that, but it is being aware of the differences between those two. And if we are doing 100% of what we want, then we are in reality not respecting and not loving ourselves. We are running away from ourselves, if you think about it that way. If it's only about what we want, if it's only about desires, then there is something that we need to really reflect on here. So taking ourselves serious means that we look at ourselves with respect and we do what is needed to be done, not necessarily what is wanted. Another thing that I want to mention here is to look at when we have judgmental thoughts, because parts of what we do as every day and every part of our life, and this is for me was a big thing, was judgment. I used to judge myself, I used to judge others, I used to judge everything, and for me it was part of a very natural action that I need to do, because I identify myself as an overthinker, as someone who need to be careful, who got high attention to details. And the misunderstanding here was not being able to differentiate between judging and analyzing. So when we are giving a judgment to everything, including ourselves, and including, for example, something that we might see or something that we might feel that we are missing. So there is this kind of overall, like a lot of us have this high anxiety, because there is always a feeling that fear of missing out. We are fearful of missing out because we are judging other people's life as better than us. So there is something that I'm missing that I'm seeing in others, and I feel that is missing in my life. So I'm judging them, and I am judging my life, and I am judging the whole situation, and I am having this anxiety of fear of missing out on those things that I don't know what they are exactly, but I am just living in this fearful state of being. And knowing that sometimes there is nothing that we need to do, because there is nothing missing in our life. It is good the way it is, and we can do things that we need to do and just let the life be. So an important point here is when we catch ourselves having this feeling of fear of missing out, or judging others or judging ourselves, or judging something harshly, really just go back to ask ourselves, is there anything that I need to do? And if the answer is no about this specific situation, so for example, if we found someone is doing well with whatever they are doing, for example, they are a colleague at work and they're receiving praises and they are having like compliments from the manager or whatever, and we have this judgment and anger and fear and confused emotions that we have, and we don't know why exactly. It's just appearing because we feel that we are missing something. There is something that we need and we are not getting it. A very helpful practice in this situation is just to ask ourselves, is there anything I need to do here? Do I need to do better in my job? Do I feel that I'm not doing my best? And if that's the situation that's making me unsatisfied, then I would do that without expecting any outcomes. But those could be triggers that we are either having an illusion that we are missing something, and it's good practice to ask ourselves, is there anything that I need to do? And sometimes there is. We know that, I know that I haven't been coming to work on time. So this incident is making me feel angry or upset because I'm missing, I know that I'm missing something I'm not doing. So if that's the case, then I need to improve and I need to come on time. Or if I feel that no, I'm doing my best and maybe there is other things happening here, that this is a different story, so then the answer to do I need to do anything is no, I don't need to do anything. Maybe what I need to do is change this environment or speak up about it, that I'm not happy about it, or whatever. But knowing why we feel the judgment and the discomfort starts with, do I need to do anything about this? And being honest, of course, about the answer. Before moving to the next principle or part of self-love, is there anything that you would like to ask or clarify or comment on? Okay.
I think I've got a question. Regarding the last point about self-respect. We talked about the full responsibility of your life.
Yes.
How would you see the responsibility scale? You can start, especially like from other people, start seeing some stuff that is not related to you as your responsibility. So how would you define the scale of responsibility for your own life?
This is
it's people, because you live with family, you live with community,
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I totally understand. Yes, thank you, Fatima. There is a very important idea that I've learned, and it helped me a lot. It's called separation of tasks. Separation of tasks means that if I need to do something to change others or for others, to change anyone else, then I am interfering in someone else's responsibility. So my responsibility to myself is to be able to understand why I feel the way I feel against others or toward others, and be able to communicate that to them. So, for example, if I have, for example, and this is something I was hearing yesterday about married couples. Sometimes we would judge the person with their whole personality, instead of understanding just the act and how it make us feel and communicate that. So instead of saying, you need to change your behavior because you're always careless and you're always whatever, this in reality is attack to their whole personality, and it is not communicating the exact action and how it makes you feel. So the other way, where you're taking responsibility for yourself and not taking responsibility for changing others, is actually the way that you can communicate that is by saying, this action that you did, let's say coming late, is actually something that makes me feel disrespected. And when I feel disrespected, it's making me also feel that you don't like me enough or whatever. So in this instant, what we are doing here exactly is actually separating those tasks. So I'm not forcing myself or putting effort on myself to communicate something, thinking that this thing that I will say need to change their behavior. I'm not trying to change their behavior. I know that everyone is responsible for their own actions, and my responsibility for myself is to know how I feel and why I feel what I feel, and then either communicate that to the others to tell them how I feel and what their action made me feel, and or in some instant I need to separate myself from those people because we have done this before, or this doesn't suit me, or whatever is the situation then is the action for me. So basically, taking responsibility stops with when all what I need to do is within my capacity to myself, and I am fully disconnecting myself from trying to change external situation or external people. I'm not, and I will not, and I cannot change anyone else, because that's the reality. We cannot change anyone else. But what we can do is deal with the situation as, let's say, we are facing a rock. You cannot change the rock, you cannot move it, you cannot do anything about it. So if it is bothering me, what can I do in my capacity to face this rock, or to be able to be with this rock but benefit from it, or find a way to feel okay while we are here in this situation. So it's absolutely about taking responsibility of our actions, our emotions, and taking responsibility that we need to communicate that to others very clearly. And to be able to do that, we need first to understand it ourselves very clearly. So we need to understand what is bothering us, what is happening to us, what are we feeling, and then make sure that we are pointing at that thing exactly, and not giving a general idea to the whole person or to their whole personality, because that will create more conflict. That is not communication, that is judgment.
Thank you. Thanks. Very helpful. Thank you.
No worries. Okay, so let's move to finding our passion. Finding our passion is, oh my god, every point is very important, but this one is actually the flow of life. It comes in harmony with everything else. Everything that I mentioned about forgiving ourselves, respecting ourselves, being our friend with ourselves, and doing what is needed, the practice of it is to not care about externals and just focus on what really brings happiness to us. And that is something that is very unique, and that is something that could be literally anything that we enjoy doing, anything that sit us in the feeling of flow. And flow is a topic that I will definitely talk about in another session, because it's a huge thing and it's a huge practice to understand and know and sense the feeling of flow. If you don't sense flow in your life, then there is definitely something missing, because flow is actually flow is the glimpse of how life can be in harmony when we don't feel or think or get disturbed by anything else other than what we are doing. It feels like, for me, it feels like we are one with the whole universe. There is no separation between me and what I'm doing. And for example, if I'm working on a canvas, or cooking a meal, or singing or dancing, I'm not thinking about anything external. All what I'm thinking about is I'm not even thinking. It's the best way to describe flow is when you see something very beautiful, astonishingly amazing, and you don't think about anything for a couple of seconds. You are just astonished with its beauty. This few seconds is what flow feels like. And when you find your passion, and when you do things that you're really passionate about, this is the feeling that will become more and more part of your life. With passion, I want to say that a big part of it is to learn to unlearn what we have learned before. And in fact, there is few steps into this. There is the step of knowing what we have learned, and there is a step of unlearning that, and there is the step of trying to be curious about after that what will happen. So approach things with curiosity. Try to have no judgment of anything that you might think. You might not know that you have learned it, because it's something you have learned anyway. So a very nice story, I feel that it applies a lot to our life. It says that a girl was trying to cook the traditional recipe of fish, and the traditional recipe from her grandmother was to cut the head and the tail of the fish before cooking it. And the girl asked her mom, why do we need to cut the head and tail of the fish? And she said, I don't know, this is what your grandma used to do. And the grandma said, I don't know, this is what my mom used to do. And so on. It goes back to a few grandmas back, and then what they found at the end, that the creator of this recipe, the mom, didn't have a big tray to put the whole fish, so she used to cut the head and the tail of the fish so she can cook the fish. And it went just like that as part of the recipe. And this actually, it's a very simple story, but I feel how many things we do just because we have learned them, and we don't know that we have learned them, that they should happen in a certain way, or they should not happen in a certain way, or they should not happen at all, or they should happen in this specific way. And part of my journey was to learn to unlearn everything and anything, to be curious like a child to everything that I approach, to any idea. I consider myself as someone who would not say no or I believe, because I know that what I believe in today might change, because I'm very flexible. I don't mind to learn something new and change my mind about it. I don't have anything that is very a strong belief that this is true, and I'm very strong believer in this. I would definitely know what I believe in, but I'm open to listen to other people's opinion and to unlearn it and to try to start from the beginning. and to be like a curious child every day in everything that I do. Even in the recipes that we do, I always create new recipes. Why? Because I enjoy it, because I feel that I'm experimenting, and I am dancing with the food. I'm dancing with everything. I'm understanding the language of everything that my hands are touching, whether it's a canvas, colors, wood, dough, fruit, vegetables. The way that I describe it is I try to understand their language and speak their language. And everything gets its own language, and I don't force my language on anything. I just be curious in everything I do. So even the things that I do over and over, I try to do them with curiosity every time. Every time I want to do this session, I feel that I'm starting like it's my first time I'm doing this session. I don't have anything in my mind that I did before that went well and I will do it again. I don't have anyone that I want to imitate or do same as them because they are successful. I don't have anything in my mind other than being myself and allowing myself to be myself, and just be okay with that. So please, be curious, find your passion, and learn to unlearn. Learn to unlearn, learn to unlearn. It's one of the things that really changed my life, to learn to unlearn and be humble to everything that life got to offer me. Because at the end of the day, I know nothing. Even the things that I know today might be wrong tomorrow. So why do I think I know? I don't know. I'm curious. I want to know. I want to learn from everything and everyone and anything and anyone at every single moment. So this is the passion. Obviously, I'm very passionate about it because I love this topic. I'm gonna wrap it very quickly, but the thing that I found very interesting and important as well, and it took me long years to discover, is finding the purpose of my existence. Why do I exist? If life is meaningless and nothing means anything, and I might live for 100 years or for 2 days, what do I want to wake up every morning and feel is the purpose for myself, for my existence? And I'm telling you, it's not an easy thing. It took me years of thinking and knowing and trying to discover different things, and then realizing that no, they're not my purpose. No, this is not my purpose. And it's okay. It's part of the journey. Doing so many things one thing is leading to the other until I find my way. So this is also go back to unlearning and being curious about learning my purpose. Why do I exist? What do I want to be during the time that I am here? And it's only me, and I am the only person who can make that decision. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to satisfy anyone. I just need to feel that I'm doing my purpose. And finding your purpose is one of the main reasons why I feel that I get out of my anxiety and depression, because, I know that it doesn't matter. It's only me who can create this purpose. And if it's something I really connect with, I can do, even if it's for free, then this could be something that I would do anyway because I enjoy doing it. And so it's one of the things that I would recommend, that you spend some time trying to discover what is the purpose of my existence during the time that I'm here. So think about that. That's a big one, actually. It's a big one, and it's a deep one, and it takes time. And again, enjoy the process. Don't think about it as something you need to achieve. Think about it as something that you can discover along the way. Connecting with the people we love and who brings happiness and love to us and who we feel we can be ourselves with is a very, very important part of loving ourselves and feeling connected and feeling the feeling of belonging to somewhere where we can fit. I struggled with this for a very long time. I hated the idea of belonging to anything or anyone or any group or anything for a very long time. I was against the idea of belonging. And then when I had to have time by myself with no connection, with no belonging, with nothing, I start to realize that it is important, but it with a certain terms, that I am myself in those places that I want to belong to. If I can be myself, then I can belong. I'm not trying to fit in anywhere. I don't want to fit in. I want to belong, and I want my belonging to be for me to accept anyone, and for others to accept me the way that I am, and to start this journey of accepting myself, of others accepting me. I had to accept myself fully first. So I had to start with myself, feel that I am okay with myself, so I don't have any external interpretation that this person is saying that because they think that I am that, because this idea by itself means that I think that I am that, so I think others are thinking that as well. So accepting myself starts first, and then I was able to belong and fit in easier and easily in so many different places that I felt comfortable being in. But this is one of the very important parts in our life as a human being, as creatures who need to be connected. The final step that will also bring your life a lot of satisfaction and a lot of gratitude to what you have is the idea of giving without waiting for return. Giving waiting for return is seeking for validation, but giving without waiting for return, even if it's a smile, even if it's a good word, even if it is something that you give with the purpose of giving without waiting for any return, no matter what that is, will immediately charge you with positive energy, even and especially when you don't get returns for it. So this is one of the practices that can be very simple and very underlooked, but it is huge to give and know that you have the capacity to give things, whatever they are, no matter what, and to be very humble and not wait for any return, because I'm not doing this for any purpose other than just giving, because I can give, and I will give, and I will share, and if I can do so, I will continue to do so, and I will feel happy doing that. Okay, that brings us to the end of the practice of self-love. The practices that I want to give you, the exercises, and I know we're running a little bit over time, but the practices.
Go on.
Yes, just 2 practices I want you to try that can be hard. I'm telling you, the first one was very hard for me, is to hug someone for 20 seconds, and try that for couple of days and feel the cringe and allow it to be and be okay with it and just try. And if the other person are not a hugging people, tell them, I have this practice, I want to try it, let's do this for 20 seconds. I know it's not comfortable for both of us, but let's try and give it a go. It is humbling experience. It's a good practice of allowing yourself to be, of reflecting on the cringe if it appears, or to feel the connection and love if that's something natural to you. So do a 20 seconds hug and do it for a couple of days, maybe for a whole week, and please let me know how does it feel the first day and compare it with the last day of the whole week. The second thing that I want you to try is also to start writing 3 things that you are grateful for within yourself, not external, not outside of you, not in your world, but that you have. Think about every single detail within your body, within your mind, within your soul that you really feel grateful for. Your eyes, your fingers, your nails, your toes, your kidney, your liver, your ability to breathe, your ability to think, your critical mind, whatever it is that you have and you appreciate and you're grateful for. Try to write every day 3 of those and try to think something new every day, and do it for a week and see how it feels. Just observe. It might help you to appreciate that you are good the way that you are, even though you might not like, for example, your weight or your height or whatever, but those things, your whole being is serving you because you are unique the way you are, and it doesn't matter having small things that we might complain about just because we feel again that we are missing out on something, that if we have this thing our life will be better in one way. But there is so much more that we need to appreciate and we can look at and just be grateful for. That's me. That's it for today. Thank you very much for joining, and please feel free to join to share any comment or question or anything that you would like to say before we finish the meeting for today.
Thank you, Nesla. I want to repeat one of your sentences.
Yes.
I'm humble to whatever life has to offer.
Yes.
I loved it.
Yes.
I
And
loved it.
yes, and it is a life-changing perspective to know that, to feel that you are humble, and we try to build confidence by thinking that we are smart and strong and capable, but just admitting that we are humble and it's okay to be humble is another perspective that will bring balance to the whole equation of our being.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time being here, and I'll hope to see you next week. Thank you very much. Do the practices and let me know, okay?
Well, we'll do.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.